Hello, family. How's everyone doing today? I hope everyone is doing well today. Let's talk about it, family, because this is the 7th time that the Cabo 6 has been running back and forth to the courts trying to request for dismissal in Shanquella's demise and her lawsuit. They have been running back and forth for about 4 months straight, trying to get a dismissal regarding Shanquella's demise. This is beyond unbelievable. They deleted Shanquella and put in all these requests to dismiss the person that they deleted. That's a new level of demonic and boldness. Where they do that at? We will also be talking about Diddy's trial, the day 11 or day 12, and a little bit of the day 13, but we're just going to take out some of the meat and potatoes of it that is leaning towards racketeering, conspiracy, and that petition, okay? So, y'all already know what we have to do for the ones in the back. Yes. This video is under fair use. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of Copyrights Acts in 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, and personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Yes, fair use. All rights and credits go directly to its rightful owner. This video is purely for fair use, opinion, and entertainment. Enjoy. And we also want to add that everything in this video is alleged. Yes. And we want to give a shout out to everyone in the chat, everyone, replay game, everyone in the comment section. Y'all leave awesome comments to our awesome and amazing moderators as well. Thank you to all our subscribers, old and new, our subscribers who are overseas. Shout out to y'all. We appreciate all the support and love you show the Cafe of Knowledge and the Cafe of Knowledge family. Let's get right on into Shanquella, and then we will get into Diddy as well. Now, please understand, family, I know that people know about, the Cabo 6, they put in a motion for dismissal, okay? And people heard that a couple of months ago, okay? And then when people report on it again, as myself, you would think that, yeah, we already know that the Cabo 6, or 4 of them, has put in motions of dismissal. No, family. What we are not understanding here is that the Cabo 6 has been putting down motions of dismissal each month, ever since January. Okay? So, yeah, we know that they put in a motion of dismissal. But what people are not emphasizing is they are doing this every month. The closer it gets to they feel that heat is coming down on them and that they most likely will have to go to court, they put in another one. Then they put in another one. Then they put in another one. Then they put in another one. And as they are doing this, they have been to court about these dismissals. Well, they not appearing, but they're sending their lawyers, okay? And they are going to courts on different times that's assigned for court for this here reason. They go to court, their lawyer go to court, and they continuously ask the judge while in court regarding this matter to dismiss this matter, okay? So they are constantly doing this as recently as 2 weeks ago. Now, the Cabo 6 think they are asleep because it's been so quiet a little bit out here on these social media streets about Shanquella's case and a lawsuit and things like that. They are thinking they can get away with doing this and it's no pushback, a backlash about it throughout social media. And which is most likely true, because Shanquella's story, people keep update on her story. I have to say that. And then again, it's just not as loud about what the Cabo Six are trying to do right now. And we talking about 2 weeks ago, they tried it again. Okay? In the month of May. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And you know, the Cabo Six have some bold nerve to request about 7 times to dismiss Shanquella's demise. That's what it is, basically. Just dismiss her demise. Dismiss how we did her. Dismiss how we deleted her. Dismiss how we fled from Mexico and hid all evidence. Dismiss how we lied to everybody in the world. Dismiss the video that we saw of Shanquella getting brutally tore up in there and they left her to her demise. Dismiss that we cleaned up evidence. Dismiss that we messed up her body and did all that. Just dismiss all that. How demonic. Of especially these 4 who is doing this. And see, the other 2 are right behind it too, but you notice they haven't put in nothing, and that just basically let me know, allegedly, that those was the 2 that did the most damage to our sister Shanquella Robinson. Now, I give updates, and I have always updated the Knowledge family on Shanquella's case when there's an update regarding her case and her lawsuit. But when me and my team sat down and saw these new dismissal requests, and then the one that we saw here recently about 2 weeks ago regarding the Cabo Six keep requesting for a dismissal in Shanquella's civil lawsuit case, we needed to talk more deeply about this, family. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. So please like, share this content. Because it's no way that Shanquella should be dismissed for her deleters who did her like that. Okay? Down there in Mexico. Wow. Cabo Six are really thinking that they slick right now. That's all it is. And as you see, because I want to go over this so y'all understand just how many times they have been doing this. We understand that the DOJ department that have put in a motion of dismissal. We understand that. Because the feds really don't like to be sued by anyone regarding this case. And then, again, that has a lot to do with the 2 women that was running the DOJ department, Dina King and Sandra Harris. It's a lot of stinks surrounding these 2 here women. I can understand the federal government wanting to dismiss that. But what we not understanding is for the Cabo Six to somehow get a dismissal and not be held accountable or responsible for taking Shanquella's life. And they came back on United States soil and also covered up evidence. So I just want to show y'all that right quick, starting with January, okay? But as y'all will see, that the judge weighed whether he is weighing right now whether Shanquella wrongful deletion case should be in the United States or in Mexico. That's what he's trying to figure out, and that's what he's debating and contemplating on. Okay? At this moment. Said he's going to most likely would make a ruling on that within the next week or 2. It might take even 3 more weeks. Okay? But we are looking to see what he would say with that. But that's why I want the Knowledge family to please like this video, share this video, push this video out, because Shanquella needs justice right here. in the United States. And I'm going to show everybody why I say that this need to be done in the United States. No dismissal for those Cabo 6 whatsoever. How do you give people who take people's lives dismissals? That's just like saying they're not held accountable for anything. Oh yeah, y'all, you took a life, but we're not going to hold you accountable for that. Okay. Anyway, now y'all will see in January. Let me show y'all this. See, in January, Cabo 6, well, first it was the DOJ, okay? The DOJ department put in a motion of dismissal, okay? That was the federal government filed their dismissal, okay? That they, we don't feel like we should be responsible or held accountable for what these 6 here people did over there in Mexico, and then they came over here and told a bunch of lies, okay? Now, the reason why Shanquella mother have the federal government on there, because they do not like the way that it was handled by them. And like I said before, most of that was coming from Dina King and Sandra Harris. I don't think it was the whole Department of Justice within North Carolina, but I do think those 2 women had a hell of a lot of blockage in there pertaining to this case. That's just my opinion, because like I said before, one of them have the same relatives as one of the Cabo 6, Khalil Cook, and Khalil Cook family is related to Sandra Harrison family, who was one of the DOJs who made the decision of no criminal charges. Okay? Now, so I can understand that dismissal coming from that federal government. Yeah, because there's 2 women in there. They got a lot of stink covering them. Okay? My opinion. But these Cabo 6, after the federal government did it in January, had come one of the trifling, musty Cabo 6. Okay? They come and put in Cabo 6 members want lawsuit dismissed. That was in February, family. Pay attention to that date. I'll wait. In February, here come Elise. Here come Winter. Here come Malik Dyer. Here come Khalil Cook. All 4 of them wants to keep putting in motions. Okay, now you got both of the 2 DOJs who has now retired. Sandra Harris and Dina King has come up out that seat. So now the Cabo 6 are shaking. They was trying to get it dismissed before the 2 ladies come out of their seats. That's what it was given, okay? I'm sorry. And now that it's just them and the 2 ladies are out of their seat, all of a sudden, Cabo 6 wants to flood the courthouse, flood the judge on, we want a request for a dismissal of this lawsuit. Because, see, they know most likely if they have to go through that court system, there's no more protection for real. Allegedly, that's what it's given. So they floods, starting in February, family. Yes, let's break it on down. They flooded starting in February. Then you will see they flooded again in March. These are different requests. A motion to dismiss. A motion to dismiss Shanquella's demise and lawsuit. Yes, as you see, in March, another Cabo 6 member files for dismissal in Shanquella Robinson's lawsuit, which is basically her demise. Because you see, the lawsuit is based on wrongful demise. So basically, let's just dismiss her demise altogether. What? Like I said before, where they do that at? Okay, so you got January, we know about the federal. government did their dismissal. But then I'm focusing on Cabo 6 because they are the one who took Shanquella away from here because of their trifling and demonic ways. Now, they did it February. Now you'll see March. They did it. Okay? There it again. Now, in May, it comes up for the judge to decide whether or not he's going to let this go. But when they got in court in May, okay, because these Cabo 6 keep on putting in requests, and then most likely they got their lawyers doing it. But the thing is, they've been hounding and flooding these courts ever since January, February, March. Not April, but here it is May. It was in May. Here they go to court, still asking for a request to dismiss Shanquella's case. Desperate. So, they put in 4 dismissals within these 4 or 5 months into 2025. January, February, March, April, May. Within 5 months, they have put in 4 dismissals. And then when they do go into the courtroom, or their lawyer go into the courtroom, they then request even harder inside of the courtroom like they did here 2 weeks ago. We just want a motion to dismiss because we need to take this case over here in Mexico. It don't need to be in the United States, Judge. Judge, please don't push this case to where it have to be heard in the United States. Please push it to Mexico and let us be tried in Mexico, Judge. Don't y'all even worry yourself over here in the United States, Judge. Judge, just grant a dismissal so that Shanquella family will have to send this back over there to Mexico. They have been doing this for about 4 or 5 times inside the courtroom. So actually, it's more than 7 times they have asked for a request of dismissal. Over 15 times to be exact, because I'm adding when they go into that courtroom, they are begging the judge for a dismissal at that time as well, and trying to come up with excuses why it should be dismissed. Oh, because we didn't delete her over here, Judge. We deleted her in Mexico. So therefore, just don't pay this no mind in the United States. Send us over there to Mexico. Tell them to go over there to Mexico and have Mexico request for us. Okay. So as you see, again, 2 weeks ago, new filings revealed detail in Shanquella Robinson's case, okay, about the $100 million lawsuit, okay? But the thing is, they keep doing it. And the 2 here went to Donovan, throwed in her dismissal, wants to dismiss the way they deleted Shanquella in Mexico. And then Elise put in hers, wants to dismiss what they did to Shanquella in Mexico. This one here is staying quiet because she already know that Mexico has already requests for her arrest, extradition, and arrest. So she's not going to put in one. No, not Fish Stick Dejanay Jackson. She's not going to put in one. Because if she put in one to say, let's take it back to Mexico, oh, hell no, I ain't putting that in because I don't want to go. They already got a warrant for me. So what I look like putting in something saying send me back over there because they already want me. So I'm going to let y'all handle that. Y'all put it in, and if it gets dismissed, that includes me too. See, that's the game that's being played here. And we ain't liking it one bit. That's why I had to talk more about this. Oh no, we not feeling that. what they trying to do to baby girl. You know? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Then you have That's Winter put in her motion. And see, these people are out here lollygagging, chilling, partying. A lot of people think that, oh no, they really not doing too much. They really are hiding. They really not, they gonna get theirs. They gonna, just give it some time. No. These people are out here chilling, parlaying. We already know because we done checked into it. Elise has started her own family. She just had a baby. She started her own family, and they living happily ever after. And the rest of them are too. And then with all that, they still have the nerve to put in to dismiss Shanquella's demise while they parlay. Yeah, went to Donovan. Malik Dyer, he put in his. Yeah, he put in his. Motion to dismiss. This Wolfman Jack looking stank bone, he done put in a request to dismiss Shanquella's demise. And he was the main one on video saying, Shanquella, you ain't gonna fight back. At least something. Fight back. She said no. Why they ragging her? Why Dejanay is ragging her? They all sitting back laughing and then help clean up the scene after her demise. But he put in a motion to dismiss old sweaty looking Wolfman Jack. Then the best friend, who so-called supposed to be Shanquella's best friend, the only reason why she went down there to the Cabo, Mexico. Okay? He put in a motion to dismiss his best friend's demise. So-called best friend. She found out he wasn't after she got there and was being deleted, and he was standing there kiki-kikiing and laughing and helping up clean up the crime scene after her demise. And then tried to extort $5,000 from her mother, saying that the hospital needed it to cure Shanquella, when all actuality, Shanquella was right there in the room with them, passed away. And he stuck with that lie all the way until they fled back to North Carolina. And he sat up in her mother's face, the so-called best friend right there on the screen, sat up in her mother's face and told her mother, oh, we so sorry, she just drunk too much and passed of alcohol poisoning. After he had stood there and watched her be deleted, and when she was taking her last breath, he helped cover the crime scene up and made sure she takes her last breath so they can flee. Wow. But then when the video came out, they all started going into hiding. Because the video showed that she really didn't die of alcohol poisoning. She died from being beat. Wow. Then you got this here musty fish stick that did all the well. And then, there's a lot of people that want to say, oh, I still think that she's somewhat of a dude. No. See, those are people who have not followed Shanquella's case from beginning to end. I have shown, and people can go back and look at Dejanay different identities. I have shown pictures of Dejanay way back in middle school. Way back. She still looked the same way. Fish stick. When she was young and she grew up just to an adult fish stick. That's all. Yeah. Always been somewhat of a Thomish boy. Tomboy. And a lot of us has been like that. Big tomboys when we was young. But then some of us come out of it. Some of us stay in it. Okay? Yes. And Dejanay has never said one time, oh, it wasn't me. No, she ain't never said that. She can't. She on video. And matter of fact, one of her homies, Nizia, told on her. Said it was her. He tried to get himself out of it and say it was the rest of them. That one right there. He got on his social media and was saying all of them was in it. Yeah, all of them contribute to her demise, but not him. And then we investigated and showed that he's a lie. He was there the whole time. Yeah. So, anyway, then we have when they brought out some of the statements that some people had said when they was being investigated, that they investigated a person who told the FBI that they saw pictures of Robertson's body and it looked as if she had been feet sewn, okay? People had been putting their feet on her, okay? And the prosecutors in Mexico issued a arrest warrant in the case, but no one has been charged, okay? Which is the arrest warrant is Dejanay Jackson, a.k.a. Amani Green, which, if people had been following Cafe of Knowledge way back when we was doing this, I showed everybody Dejanay 20 different aliases, and Amani Green was one of them. So it wasn't nothing new when people said, oh, she changed her name. Now this family had already knew she didn't change her name. That was one of her names anyway. Dejanay is from Kingston, Jamaica, is where her stomping ground is. And so she comes up with a lot of different names. Yes. And most likely, that's where she's running back and forth to now. Her and some of these Cabo 6 homies, okay? Because, my opinion, if that judge say that this thing be held in the United States court, I think one or two of them are going to just go to Kingston, Jamaica, along with their homegirl, and stay. We'll see, though. See, all 6 of their names was on this villa sheet. All 6 of them was there. All 6 of them was part of Shanquella's demise. Okay? We already know that. And remember, in one of the FBI reports as well, somebody said in the report, they won't tell us who said it. They just telling us little statements that they did investigate some people regarding Shanquella's demise. And so the Fed said that somebody told them that Shanquella looked like she had been, stomped, and they seen pictures of that, okay? So that lets me furthermore know, what did Shanquella go through when they said they seen pictures of her body, and it looks as if she was, hands and feet sewn, okay? So that furthermore tells us, what was she going through after she passed? They was doing that to her after she passed. It was some evidence of SA after she passed. So see, they was having a field day with someone who wasn't even no longer here. They was still basically torturing her while she was already gone. But these are the people who said they want the case dismissed. Then you will see somebody told them that, oh, she hit her head on the toilet. That's what the Cabo 6 told the FBI. She hit her head on the toilet. How she hit her head on the toilet when we seeing the video of her being wailed on and couldn't move anymore? So who drug her in there? Yeah, she probably did hit her head on the toilet when y'all was dragging her in there to try to clean up the scene. That's what it was given. That's why she gone. It wasn't because no toilet. This is why. Because this old oversized Bigfoot fish stick Jackson was wailing on her. And then put her like in a head position and slung her. And that's when it was like it was no more motion, no more movement, no more nothing. So don't sit up and tell us that she hit her head on no toilet. Probably so after y'all drug her in there. Yes. You know? And some people that say, well, yeah, you know, we seen a video of them, wailing on her in the bathroom and that. We ain't got, you know what? All that stuff is irrelevant. We over here go on facts, proof, evidence. And nobody has even showed the FBI that, because we have already checked on all of that. They don't have it. So if the courts don't have it, it's irrelevant. We go by the video that the courts have. And that's this right here. That's that right there. And how we saw she had no more motion after she was slung by the upper part of her head. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, so missed us with that. And then we see here that she had all kind of bruises and signs of SA. Nigel Wiggins and some more, because it was 3 guys there. Yeah, this one right here. Yeah, this one right here. Just heartless savages. They are still working hard to step and TT on Shanquella even after they took her life. So you can imagine what she went through doing that video and after her demise. Then you have this one here that sat up there and told on everybody. Yes, he told on everybody. And he was not playing. He said, yes, they all was there. He said that they had all double teamed on him. That's what he said. Yeah. And you see right there. What does he say? Instantly go to her, put on her side, and get a bag. See, that's when she was no longer here. She had already took her last breath. But this here, musty rat, gonna say he put on her side. Then he said he put on soft music. And he was rubbing her head. What? Then he says, yeah, I was rubbing her head. And I put on that soft music while she taking her last breath and had took her last breath. He says, and then I laid beside her with the soft music playing. He named the music too. Forgot what the music was, but he named it. Yeah. And he said, she was what, family? She was unresponsive. Yeah, she was unresponsive. Yeah, she was unresponsive. See? She was unresponsive. He said she was unresponsible. I tried to get her to talk. So he telling right there she was gone. Unresponsive mean there's no motion, there's no movement, there's no talking, there's no coughing, there's no breath. Then he said, yeah, she was found unresponsive. Yeah. But he was steady playing that soft music. Then the autopsy come out and showed that there's some Hank Pank looking stuff going on down there with Shanquella in the private area. Why is that, Najee? Why is that, Cabo 6? Because, hey, some of the girls look kind of like they enjoy it too. Dejanay. Yeah, so why does she have all that down there going on? Yeah. Yeah, because she's somebody that passed the alcohol poison shouldn't even had that. And when we saw the video, it was basically a lot of windmilling on Shanquella's upper body, head, neck area, shoulders, and things like that. See, we didn't see the stomp part. You see? No. But when you look at the autopsy, we see a whole lot of things that went on after Shanquella's demise. Yeah. But these are the ones who said they want her case dismissed after all that I just said they did to her and lied. But see, the Cabo 6 or the 4 have the nerve to keep running back to the judge asking for a request to dismiss Shanquella's demise. Unbelievable. And Dejanay and Nazir are the two that I feel did the most damage. Far as deleting her, Dejanay, and that essay looking stuff on that thing, that autopsy thing, Nazir. You notice those are the two who hadn't put in dismissal of requests. Yeah. But they all helped clean the scene to act like Shanquella passed of alcohol poison, when all reality they all knew what really happened to her. She was jumped. Now, I just need to talk deeper about this because it's just amazing how these demonic souls can keep putting in a request to dismiss somebody's life that they took. So I want to talk deeper about this and kind of put a spotlight on it and put it in the universe, since they keep requesting for dismissals. Because they think that nobody's paying attention for real. Because the internet has been quiet. But when I saw it, you know, we talked about the dismissal. Then they put in another one. Then they put in another. Then they put in another. Then 2 weeks ago, they go to court and they still requesting for dismissal. I said enough is enough. It's time to put their ass back in the spotlight. Yeah. 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 You just ain't gonna dog Shanquella like that. Not without us saying something. Something more. Something more. Something harder. Something louder. Not without us saying something more. Now, if the judge, he decide to move it to Mexico, at least we can say we tried. But I was not going to let these requests keep falling and falling and falling and falling as if Shanquella wasn't nothing. This was a businesswoman, had her own business, ran her own career, making a hell of 6 figures a year. Not only did she run her own clothing business, she was also a hairstylist who was going to Chicago and all them things doing hair shows. She was so good at doing hair. And here you got these 6 backyard Barbie and Ken's trash, dumpster trash, that took a life and then come back here and put in all these dismissals to dismiss her demise. Oh, you got to be some type of demonic spirit to even do that. So many times, just blocking this girl's demise. as if it ain't never happened. See, a lot of people think that these here 6 are thinking about Shanquella. Oh, I know she haunts them. No, she don't. They not haunted. If you ask me, it look like they getting worse. Yeah. If you ask me, it look like they getting worse. Her family. Her father. This is her father. And her father said, you can't hide. You cannot hide. And no ruling made in Shanquella Robinson's federal court hearing, but father sends message to those responsible for her demise. And I showed y'all that just the last video. But I just wanted to talk deeper on it. And the Robinson family is frustrated. They are. And her father, that's his only child. And he said, he expressed his frustration at the slow pace of the legal process. He said he just wants justice for his daughter. I'd rather for the case to be handled here in the United States because you came back here and lied to the whole United States. Bernard Robinson said, I want justice. All I can do is stand here on Shanquella and talk, be her mouth, be her voice, because she didn't deserve this at all, he said. Justice will serve and nobody can tell me it won't be served. And sometimes it takes a while. At this time, the judge has not made a ruling on whether the case will be dismissed or allowed to move forward in federal court. Wow. So, the Cabo 6 continues to dunk all over Shanquella, even after her demise. They don't care nothing about Shanquella. And it shows how cold-hearted they are. And it shows the type of danger Shanquella was in when she was in that villa with all 6 of these people. But she only went because her best friend asked her to go. So-called best friend, Khalil Cook. And he is the one that is making sure her demise don't get any justice. Yeah. Yeah, he the one that's working very hard. The so-called best friend. So, you know, it's sad. It's sad that they're still stopping Shanquella's demise right now. And I keep repeating that because I was baffled about how many times they was bold enough. Cabo 6 have some nerve to request that the civil lawsuit be handled in Mexico after they know they fled Mexico. And then you will see that Nizer says, did I put that in here? Yes. Y'all see right here, Nizer says, Russia, you got to make a trade. Nobody trading for us. Nobody. What did he tell everybody right there? He said this a while back. He said, yeah, we fled. We left her there in that villa, passed away. They took her on somewhere to a mall, but we jetted. He said, we jetted because ain't nobody trading for us. So when I hear Cabo 6 keep requesting for a motion to dismiss and let Mexico handle it, your homeboy already told us y'all didn't want to stay in Mexico because wasn't nobody gonna trade for y'all if y'all would have told what really happened. And if Mexico had kept y'all, that y'all knew nobody would trade for y'all. So y'all fled. Y'all did a crime, deleted someone, and fled back to the United States and lied and said it was alcohol poisoning until the video came out. And y'all did that because nobody is going to trade for y'all over there in Mexico. So what make us think that they really want to go to Mexico? See, they playing on everybody top. because they know they will have to get extradited back over there to Mexico, and most likely that won't happen because Mexico has already put in a request to the United States to extradite Dejanay Jackson, aka Imani Green, and that has not been done yet in over 2 years, and it's not even being considered. So that's why they plan on everybody top, because they see one of them ain't even went yet, haven't even been thought to be extradited. So they'll just put that in there, because most likely that's not going to happen. Because even if Mexico requests for them, they do not have to go. They do not have to go. Not on their own. They will have to be made to be extradited, which most likely won't happen because it haven't happened to Dejanay. Mm-hmm. But the homeboy says it right there. See, if I was Shanquella's lawyer or, or something like that, I would use this in court to the judge. Judge, look, they clearly said the reason why they fled Mexico because ain't nobody trading for them. That was their plan. That's the reason why they left. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Cabo 6 has been playing in the Robinsons' face and on their top for a long time now. Over 2 years. Yes. With no regards, with no respect for their daughter, whose life they took. They have been living their own lives for almost 3 years, have not even thought about Shanquella. And when they do think about Shanquella, it's to dismiss her demise and to dunk on her even more. All 6 of them are walking in evil spirits with a demonic heart that's rooted inside their soul. The fact that each month this year, 4 of them keep putting in a request for dismissal is extremely evil, cruel, and wicked. Hopefully, within the next 2 weeks or so, the judge don't dismiss Shanquella's civil lawsuit against the Cabo 6 so that they can go to trial about this civil lawsuit. And, me, if the judge said he would take the federal part off because he don't feel like they should be held responsible for what Cabo 6 did, I'm cool with that. As long as the Cabo 6 keeps moving in the United States trial. If he say, you know what, I could take the federal off of this one because they really are not responsible for her demise, and I will let the Cabo 6 lawsuit proceed. That's all well, fine, and good to me. That's better than nothing. But still keep the $100 million on top of their head because most of them are living very well. And you can show within the past 3 years if they have switched stuff out of their name and it's in somebody else's name. If they have done that within the time after they deleted Shanquella up until this point, that got to come too. We taking that too. That's my opinion. That's how it would be with me. Yes. But anyway, family, just hope, and we hope, share, like, that Cabo 6 do get held accountable. And basically, they sitting back hoping and scratching the lottery, hoping that they win the lottery so they could jet up out this country. But they damn sure ain't going to go back to Mexico. Most likely they going to go over there with their homegirl, Dejanay Jackson. Yeah, because she run back and forth to Kingston, Jamaica all the time. Mm-hmm. The 6 pig feet smelling dumpster trash. Still running back and forth up to the court trying to stop progress. But anyway, family, we're going to stay updated on this. Please like and share this here for baby girl, because this right here totally is unacceptable. And that's why I wanted to break this down, because yeah, every time we hear, oh, the Cabo 6 put in a motion to dismiss Shanquella's lawsuit, people thinking, oh, that's old. Yeah, we heard about that about February or something like that. No. These jokers is doing this every month. It's recently up to 2 weeks ago, trying to bombard the court to keep from being held accountable and responsible for Shanquella's demise. Wow. And they sat right up there. And after they deleted Shanquella and fled Mexico back to North Carolina, where they are from, they went over Shanquella's mother's house and sat in her mother's face and was still lying that they baby girl, passed of alcohol poison. See, this was all before the video came out. They didn't think the video was going to hit the internet streets or was going to come out. So they continued to stick with their lie, and Shanquella's mother said they came over to her house crying and said they never had a fight. They even sat in her living room right there and said what they were picking out to wear to the funeral, Shanquella's mother told the outlet, noting they were deciding on colors to honor Shanquella. This is how demonic they are. Yes, this is how demonic they are. They did that. Let that sink in. I'm going to let y'all read that yourself. That's what they did, and that's what they said. They went to her mother's house, Shanquella's house, and sat there and lied just that boldly with evil spirits and told this woman as if they was heartbroken, knowing that they had just jumped, deleted, covered up evidence and all that. Then they bought some of Shanquella's suitcase back to her mother, her belongings back to her mother, and said, here you go. We so sorry she passed of alcohol poisoning. Then when the video came out, her mama couldn't find none of them. Her daddy couldn't find none of them. What? Wow. These 6 constantly trying to make it hard for Shanquella to get justice because of what they did. That's evil. That is so evil. So, I'm going to go to the next one. President Trump has pardoned Baton Rouge rapper NBA Youngboy. So, NBA Youngboy now has a pardon from Trump. Okay? On Wednesday, President Trump pardoned rapper NBA Youngboy Kentrell. And so, he has a pardon now. And they said he was arrested multiple times since 2014 with charges ranging from robbery and attempted deletion to their street candy charges and weapons. Okay? And so he wrote a statement to Trump on social media. I want to thank President Trump for granting me a pardon and giving me the opportunity to keep building as a man, as a father, as an artist. This moment means a lot. It opens the door to a future I've worked hard for, and I am fully prepared to step in it. Well, you know, you say he worked hard for it, but considering his criminal record, it don't seem like he was working too much hard on the artist. Looked like he was working hard in the streets. So I don't know if this second chance is, gonna be worth it or not. But good luck to NBA Youngboy, whatever his name is. But anyway, I just seen it and thought I'd just show everybody. Now you got these two right here. Done been captured down there in Texas. These are the ones who escaped from the New Orleans jail down there. Yes, they have been arrested in Texas. They was in a car, then was trying to outrun the police. What is really going on here? They was trying to outrun the police, and the police jerked them right up out that car. So they was found in Texas. There's two more out there. Now they saying they don't even know if they are in the state of Louisiana. Some of them are trying to say they are. They was trying to say all of them was. But we clearly see right here, these two was in Texas. Looked like they was trying to get to the border. That's what it was given. That's what it was given. Looked like they was trying to get to the border. So as y'all see, that those two names was Leo Tace and Jermaine Donald. They was arrested in Texas, okay? So now you have two left. 8 of them have been captured. 2 of them, this one and this one, is out there left, has not been captured yet. And those two, they've been on the run hard. Then you will see that about 10 people has been arrested for helping these escapees. All the ones y'all see on the screen. Also, they don't have Massey up there, female. It's about 10 of them, okay? It's showing like 7 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so it's showing about 7 here, but it's really 10 of them who have been arrested. But this one right here, his sister has been arrested, the Massey, because they said the sister, he was over the sister house. The sister was housing him for a little bit, feeding him and all that stuff, and helped him get out of Dodge. And so now she's arrested and he's still out running. Do you think he's going to turn around and say, oh no, let my sister go, I turn myself in? I don't think so. See, that's what I'm talking about you jeopardizing your own freedom for someone who don't give a damn about you or themselves. Because if they gave a damn about you, he wouldn't have never came to his sister's house. He would already knew that the sister is the first place they would come, so he would stay far away from his sister. He probably sent her a goddamn letter in the mail. Hey, it's me, sis. But he damn sure shouldn't have went over to her house. That just show you. See, people think that, oh, you know, they running over here to me. That's my loved one. And they want me to help them, and I'm going to help my loved one. But if they really stop and think about it, if your loved one breaks out, your loved one should not even come to you. Should not even want to put you in that type of position. Because they know that they done heard the people say, if you are caught helping them, we're going to lock you up too. Family should be the last place they go to. To keep their family out of bull. But that just goes to show a lot of people don't do nothing but think about themselves. They don't care nothing about their family. I bet you $100 to a bag of damn peanuts. He is not going to turn himself in because they got his sister. He's saying to himself, damn that. She all right. She'll be good. All she got to do is tell somebody to keep money on her book. She'll be all right. And he going to keep on booking it. Wow. Even if his sister is made to do about 5 or 10 years, he is not coming to help her out that bind. But she helped him out that bind. People, y'all better watch it. Y'all better watch it. Tell your folks, don't come running to you when they break out the joint like that. Yeah. So, anyway, these two are left, and they looking for these two. Now, the Diddy. As we know, all these right here has been testifying against Diddy. He had the Kid Cudi, he had the Don. He had the Don that the defense team was flipping all over the place. And then you had Kid Cudi. You know, now you have this hairstylist. He's up here. Then a chick named Maya. They got her face blocked out because she's supposed to stay anonymous, okay? but you have a lot of people testifying on Diddy. And my thing is, that's the hairstylist. And I just want to bring out the points where I know that they are bringing in the racketeering and the P-tuition and the conspiracy part, because that's what this case is about. So I'm just going to keep grabbing meat and potatoes from that, okay? But let's talk about that racketeering and P-tuition and things that the prosecutors are trying to point towards Diddy. And one of them that I seen was the Cassie mom. When Cassie mom took out a huge house loan and wired that money to Diddy's company / enterprise, okay, to keep her daughter safe. That's into racketeering, okay, because you're wiring money like that. And then for the employees to be used to pay for and receive street candy and take the street candy to different parties and pick it up and all that type of stuff in different states and different places, that could be considered racketeering, okay? And employees being hooked up on lie detective tests and threatened and intimidated in a very intimidating atmosphere, using employees to hire escorts for sexual favors and enjoyment. See, people have to understand that Diddy is the one that made Cassie an employee by hiring her to be an artist, putting her inside of a contract. So in all reality, not only was she just his girlfriend, she was also an employee. So when you make an employee do certain things like that, that can be considered racketeering. See, a lot of people is forgetting that. A lot of people is forgetting that Cassie wasn't only a chick Diddy was with or messing with or considered her his girl or off and on girl. She was also an employee on paper. She had a contract to do 10 albums. So she's also considered an employee. That's why they say don't mix business with pleasure, because you can get in a hell of a lot of trouble for doing that. And so Cassie is considered an employee, and she was calling escorts, and her and Diddy was, it was supposed to have been for Diddy, and she was using the money that she was getting from Diddy to pay these escorts as she was doing these sexual favors to satisfy Diddy, but all in reality, she is an employee because she is an artist who is still on contract at the time. So I could see them pulling that in as racketeering, okay? And then using employees to clean up evidence, like at the hotel after he leave and after they finish the freak out, whatever, then he have his assistants come in and clean the room to make sure that the housekeepers of the hotel don't find anything. Well, assistants are only supposed to be doing assistant jobs. They're not supposed to be used for being a cleanup person to clean up evidence that you've left behind, especially damaging evidence and criminal evidence as cocaine, K-mine, marijuana, all that stuff like that. They're not supposed to be used for that. He should have been hiring outside people to do that, not his employees. So I could see them trying to pull that into racketeering as well. And the escorts being called from this state to that state to come and have a jolly good time with them, with the FOs, okay? Because once they started paying the escorts, that's considered P-tuition, okay? Yeah, they no longer considered that. So using employees for criminal behavior and engaging in criminal behavior, such as the bodyguards, the assistants, the artists, because Cassie was an artist, all that. And you tie all that together, it could be knocking on the door of racketeering and conspiracy. Okay? And with those escorts, P-Tution. So this is the hairstylist, and he is Cassie's good friend. And so I'm just going to go off some key points on what he was saying about this matter. And this was day 11, 12, and 13. I'm just putting in the big points of what they was talking about. Okay, family? So he got on the stand, the stylist, who was a good friend of Cassie's. And he said that he's seen a lot of physical things go on between Combs and Cassie, and a lot of things that's, not good. And then you had the LAPD who talked as well about Kid Cudi's situation with his car, and the LA Fire Department who also talked about some things that was going on with Kid Cudi's car. Okay, so then you will see that actually Combs' defense team said they don't have enough time to discuss case with him. They said that they're raising concerns that his team doesn't have enough time to discuss the trial with Diddy, given restrictions at the Metropolitan Detention Center. He asked the judge to issue an order allowing them to use a room in the courthouse until 10 p.m. And the judge said that he would talk to the appropriate people about their request. So Diddy team is saying that, like after court or whatever, it's like they take Diddy right on back to his cell, and they don't have time to talk to him about what's going on, or talk to him about this case, or talk to him about can he remember anything else, or for them to continue to prepare for the next day. They don't have that time. They saying that it's like they probably give him like 30 minutes to an hour and then whisk him off back to his jail cell, and that's not giving them a time to talk to Diddy about what's going on with his trial, or how they seeing things, or more information and things like that. So now you will see that Cassie Stylist testified about decades of terrible windmills and blackmails that Diddy was doing. Okay, and he was a third witness. Nash testified he started working for Combs and Cassie around 2008, starting as an intern and later becoming a stylist. Nash testified that on multiple occasions he heard Combs tell Cassie that he would beat her okay? Cassie would be super emotional and things like that. He just said he heard Diddy kind of do all kind of things to Cassie, and she was going through a whole lot of windmills dealing with Sean Diddy Combs, okay? And the stylist also had been seen. The stylist, Dante, testified that he had seen Cassie take street candy, including Molly and X, and times inside her home. Nash testified that he smoked that good. He said one of his meetings with the prosecutor was cut short after he told them he had smoked some of that good beforehand. Okay? He also said that the last time he spoke to Cassie was yesterday after she had her baby, to tell her congratulations. Okay? He also said that he spoke to her about the clothes that she was planning to wear at trial when she testified. So, also with him saying that, it also shows that him and Cassie could have been collaborating their story and talking about their story to make sure that he kind of somewhat says the same thing that she does. Not saying that's what they did. He said they talked about this. I'm just telling y'all what the defense was pointing at when they started questioning Nash, okay, about how many times he was talking to Cassie. And every time he talked to Cassie, it seems like he would get with the prosecutors at different meetings behind the scene and kind of switch up his story, okay, to fit Cassie's story. That's kind of what the defense was doing to Nash, okay? But Nash seems like a pretty good witness. He said he was very close to Cassie and Combs at the time. So that's him on the stand. And also, he recounted the night they celebrated Cassie's 29th birthday. Nash testified that Combs and Cassie argued at dinner, and Combs told her he did everything for her, but she couldn't do this one thing. Nash said Cassie told him that Combs was mad because I don't want to go to the hotel and FO with him. After going to a karaoke bar and then returning to Cassie's house, Nash said Combs confronted Cassie and later told the group she would be leaving with him. Cassie packed a bag with her personal items and money, telling Nash she didn't want to go but felt she had no choice. Nash testified that both Cassie and Combs appeared to be under the influence, with Cassie seeming more affected. Okay, so Cassie went on and went with him on her birthday. Okay, he also Nash recalled occasion in 2013 doing a music video shoot for Cassie when Combs attacked him while he was outside smoking a cigarette. Combs grabbed Nash and threw him on the parked car, saying to Nash, "I thought I told y'all about going out. Y'all wildin'," Nash said. Nash testified that Combs was referring to the occasion he testified about earlier. So what is he saying is that when Cassie's birthday and they told Cassie, hey, we're going to go out to karaoke, we're going to have a good time. Cassie went with him. Combs didn't want her to go because he wanted to have a FO on her birthday. Well, Nash is saying, the hairstylist, he's saying that they all went anyway and took Cassie out to a karaoke place and that they had fun. But then he said that Combs had told him and Cassie friends, hey, on her birthday, don't y'all take her out. Don't y'all go nowhere because I got plans. Me and her gonna do something. Well, they had already knew that Combs was most likely talking about a FO. So they took Cassie out anyway. So when they took her out, Combs came and got Cassie. And she told them, he making me go with him. I can't stay here any longer at the karaoke bar. I have to go. So that's when Nash said, later on when Diddy saw him, Diddy jacked him up and said, didn't I tell you not to take her out? I told y'all not to go out, but y'all did it anyway. And if y'all hadn't took her out, I wouldn't have had to come to the karaoke bar and come and get her. You know, like they disobeying his rules, okay? So that's basically what he's talking about there, old Nash. Let me see. Then Nash said that somebody named Derek Roch called him, okay, and told Nash that they gave Diddy his address. And so Nash then dropped Cassie off on Sunset Boulevard so she can catch a cab, because Cassie was with him. And he said, the hairstylist said, somebody named Derek called him and said, hey man, Diddy is with me. I had to give him your address. So he on his way over there and he making me go with him to show him where you stay at. And so that's when Nash said, he told Cassie, hey, I'm going to have to take you to go act like you catching a cab and you go somewhere else. But you can't be over here at my house. So he took her to go catch a cab to go somewhere, because he knew that Diddy was on his way over to his house. So he said then Combs and his security arrived at the hairstylist's house. Combs searched the house asking where Cassie was. He looked in the oven. I don't know why he looked in the oven, Nash said. Combs then took Nash's phone when shown Cassie was calling him from a nearby hotel. Combs then demanded that Nash drive to the hotel while he followed. so Nash could get Cassie to come out of the hotel. Nash knew the staff at the hotel, so Combs told him to sweet talk his way up to Cassie's room. Combs' security guard and chief of staff, Tony Fletcher, went with Nash up to her room. Cassie was frightened when they got there, Nash said. Okay? When they told her to go downstairs to Combs waiting outside, Cassie said she was going to go over the balcony. As she walked towards it, Nash testified. Nash testified that when he left the hotel, he noticed a car was following him and thought it was Combs' security. He said he turned off his lights and sped away until he lost them, and then went to a different hotel to spend the night. I didn't think my home was safe to go to that night, he said. Nash said when he returned to his home the next morning, his backpack containing his ID, $1,000 in cash, and his iPod had been stolen. Okay? Boy, they weren't playing around that camp there. He said also he remembered a time in 2013 or 14 when he was at Cassie's apartment and Diddy came over there saying he wanted to talk to Cassie. He said Combs and Cassie went into the bedroom, and when they came out, Combs grabbed her by her hair and the back of her shirt and started pushing her out while telling her to get out of his house. Nash testified that he understood Combs was referring to Cassie's apartment, because you got to remember that apartment Diddy is paying for. So when Diddy came over there with her and the hairstylist was at her apartment, he told her to get out his house and told the hairstylist to get out too. He wanted both of them to get out. Okay? And the hairstylist said that Diddy was popping him in the back of his head. I don't have hair. And he grabbed me by my shirt. Nash said he went downstairs to get in his car, and Cassie and Combs came down later. Puff began to berate both of them, and he finally let us go, Nash said. And then he said that Nash said that he and Cassie began driving away when they received a call from Combs telling them to pull over. Combs then came up to the window and started talking to Cassie. Nash testified that Combs told her he would put tapes out there on the internet. Combs said he was going to release them on schedule and start by sending them to her parents' job. Nash said he said that Combs also told Cassie he was the only one that protected her. Cassie was in tears as they drove away, Nash said. Nash testified that he told Cassie that if Combs wanted to release the tape, she should let him, since he be on the tapes too. Cassie said that he wasn't on any of the videos, that it was him taping her with other guys, Nash said. Nash testified that Cassie said she didn't want to have those relations and FOs and all that stuff like that, okay? But anyway, family, he said he's seen a lot, okay? And it was one time, I just want to show y'all this. Okay. He said this time in 2013 and 14, it was another incident where they was packing for a trip, right? And said, Nash said he answered the door when Combs arrived because Cassie was asleep on the couch. So he's saying this is another time that Diddy came over there, you know, beating on the door and acting a fool. And Combs came in yelling at Cassie about how she allegedly didn't answer her phone. Nash said that he watched Combs grab her by her hair and pull her off the couch and started windmilling on her, okay? Nash said he ran into Cassie's bedroom with Cassie and one of Combs' assistants. The assistant had been identified in this trial as Maya, and we'll get to her in a minute. Okay? Combs pushed the door open as they tried to lock him out, Nash said. So this time when they saw him windmilling and all that stuff on Cassie, they said that they took Cassie and they ran in the bedroom and tried to lock the door, but, you know, Diddy caught the door before they could lock it, and he bust in the joint. Combs continued to windmill on Cassie and, you know, putting his feet on her and all that until she hit her head on a bed frame. And when she hit her head on that bed frame, Nash said that him and the chick Maya both jumped on Combs' back, but he threw them off, Nash said. So, you know, they say that Diddy can kind of throw down a little bit, you know, to be his size. He can kind of throw down. They say he can throw down. But when they tried to help Cassie by jumping on his back, Nash said they threw, you know, Diddy threw them clean across the room like, get up off me. You know what I'm saying? So Combs finally stopped when he noticed the leakage, Nash testified. When he noticed the leakage, he just panicked. So when Cassie hit her head on that bed frame, her head, you know, had cracked a little bit and started leaking. Okay? And then that's when Combs looked at them and said, look what y'all made me do. Nash said he dialed 911, but somebody told him to hang up before the call connected. He testified he can't remember who told him to hang up. Combs told them Cassie would go to a plastic surgeon with his security guard, Nash said. When Nash saw Cassie on a video call the next day, she had a gash on her forehead near her eyebrows and stitches, Nash said. So, Diddy whooping folks and then saying, I'm going to send y'all to a plastic surgeon. What? No. How you gonna whoop somebody, do all that damage, and then say, I'm gonna send her to a plastic surgeon so she can get stitched up, healed up, and all that stuff? Boy, boy, boy. But anyway, so that was one of the ones that I just wanted y'all to see. But he was just saying a lot here about how he saw a lot of different things that Cassie was going through, because him and Cassie was very close friends. Let me see. Nash said Cassie once told him that Sean Combs was making her go to the hotel for a F-off against her wishes. So he did say that. On cross-examination, Diddy lawyer asked Nash, you know, why he didn't share all these details until May 17th, meeting with the prosecutor. See, that's what I'm telling y'all about. They saying that when they met with Nash like some months ago, preparing for this trial, he didn't bring none of that up. It wasn't until after the trial started, and he started communicating with Cassie, allegedly. This is how they painting the picture, that all of a sudden his story is this right here, and it's somewhat of what Cassie said when Cassie was on the stand. But months before this, and he had to do like his little statement on what he know and what he saw and stuff like that, he wasn't putting none of that in there. You see what I'm saying? So that's what they saying, that what he's saying now, he wasn't saying before May 17th, like months ago. When they was asking him questions, getting prepared for this trial, he didn't tell the prosecutor none of this, you know, but he is now. So that's what they saying. And then he said himself that he had called Cassie, congratulated her on the birth of her child. And then he also had been talking to her prior when she was on the stand, asking her what outfits she's going to wear. Because remember, he was their their stylist, you know. So anyway, Nash had previously said that he gave prosecutors very little in their meeting. So now he's saying, yeah, I didn't say none of that a while back because I only gave them a very little information. Only information they explicitly asked me for. When Diddy lawyer asked why new details surfaced in his Wednesday testimony, Nash coolly replied, it must have been something they asked. So basically he's saying, they didn't ask me about all that stuff a while back. So I gave them very little information. But now I'm giving all the information, basically. Okay? Then Nash, as Diddy's lawyers was questioning Nash, he also said out loud and testified that he hooked up Cassie with Michael B. Jordan. Okay? You see right there, the hairstylist King volunteered. He volunteered this information. Now, didn't nobody ask him. When they started asking him why his story changing and all that stuff, he wanted to bypass that. And he started talking about stuff that they wasn't even talking about, that they ain't even asked him about. But he was saying it anyway, I guess to keep from answering why he wasn't telling them what he told them now before. Okay? And so he just bust out and changing the subject and said, yeah, I hooked Cassie and actor Michael B. Jordan up. Okay? A defense attorney was cross-examining Nash about events in 2015 when Cassie was in South Africa shooting a film, right? And so as they was asking him questions, he was always kind of going back to something else. And that's another thing that doesn't really look good, because all the testimony that we was hearing him tell the prosecutors in court, which I just showed y'all and we talked about, all what he's seen and what he said that he jumped on Diddy's back, all that stuff was sounding believable and everything like that. But when the Diddy's lawyer would start asking him deep questions about those incidents, it's like he didn't want to talk about it, as if he wasn't prepared to talk about that. Then he started making up his own things that what he wanted to talk about. So then, or he would be very short with the defense. You know, like, I don't know. Well, maybe they didn't ask me that. That's why I ain't say nothing. Things like that, okay? And then that's when he said again that the stylist was asked about how Cassie got approval from Combs to shoot the film, when Nash spontaneously volunteers. See, he's volunteering information. He said, yes, I did hook her up with Michael B. Jordan. He fine, she fine. I mean, why not? Nash continued. Okay, so he was just talking about how he hooked Cassie up with Michael B. Jordan. But basically that was his testimony, family. And I said that I wanted to bring that up because how he was saying that they was trying to stop Diddy from, windmilling on Cassie, but then Cassie head got messed up, and then Diddy talking about he'll send her to a plastic surgeon with his security guard. What? Anyway, now you'll see the LAPD officer, he said something about Kid Cudi's car. Check this out, which was interesting. But the police officer, Ignacio, he responded to Kid Cudi's home that morning, allegedly when Kid Cudi house was broke in on December 2011. At the time, he was on parole in Hollywood Division, which included Kid Cudi's house. He and his partner responded to the radio call and possibly burglary at the home at 5:20 a.m. Okay? The officer testified that he noticed a black Escalade parked outside Kid Cudi's home when he arrived. The SUV took off up the hill as the marked police vehicle with lights and sirens on pulled up behind it. He said he took note of the license plate, but couldn't see any passengers through the tinted glass. The officer testified that he didn't pursue the Escalade because there wasn't a crime at that point. My thing is, he said it wasn't a crime at that point, but they did get a call of a burglary. So, I think that would have been probable cause to follow that black SUV when they speed off after you arrive. You see what I'm saying? But he said he just took note of the license plate. Okay? So, he let Diddy, he let the black Escalade, the black SUV go head on. He didn't try to pursue it or nothing like that. Then the officer also described the scene when he arrived at Kid Cudi's home in 2011. The officer said he noticed that a black Escalade that was parked outside of the home, when he pulled up, drove by the home about 15-20 minutes later. So think about it. When he pulled up, the SUV sped off. Had tinted windows, he couldn't see who was in it. But he got out, checked on Kid Cudi's house and all that stuff. He said about 15 minutes later, that same SUV came back past the house, I guess to see if the police were still there. They was. The SUV kept on going. Okay? Then, he said when he ran the license plate, the vehicle registration tied back to Bad Boys Production. See what I'm talking about? See what I'm talking about? See, that's why I put out this point, because this is another part where they pointing to racketeering, because you're using your company vehicle to do dirt to somebody. You see what I'm saying? Because Kid Cudi said that you was coming to his house, that you was at his house, and all that. Then you got a police officer that pulled up on that SUV, ran the license plate, and it comes back Bad Boys record. Why is Bad Boys record in front of this boy's house, in front of Kid Cudi's house? That's why they tying this racketeering in there. Because Diddy and them could have rented a vehicle and went over there so it don't tie back to Bad Boys Production. But that's who it registered back to. Wow. And the officer said he entered the home. The door was unlocked. No one was home, but the officer noticed several high-value watches and purses. Some were wrapped and some were unwrapped, the officer said. Officer said Kid Cudi eventually came back to the house and they filed a trespassing report. So, as you see, that they filed a trespassing report. Not a break-in, not a burglary. They filed a trespassing report. Okay? Wow. Okay. Then this was the fire chief talking here. Jimenez. Okay? I know it say J, but you pronounce it Jimenez. Okay? And he said that when he got to the scene, the fireman, he said when he got to the scene, it was like a cloth or handkerchief on the center console that was burnt. Okay? That's what the fire person said. Adding that he also saw a disposable lighter outside of the car, a couple of feet from the driver's side. So that's after they got there and put out Kid Cudi's car. And they showed pictures of Kid Cudi's car. The bottle, cloth, and lighter were tested for DNA, but only the bottle returned results, the fireman said, confirming that a particle DNA profile consistent with a female contributor came from the bottle, but said he didn't know exactly what that meant. What you mean by you don't know what that mean when DNA from a bottle shows it's a female DNA, then you need to find out what female been in that area. Okay, or who Kid Cudi know female could have been around his area. Okay, they said that Capricorn Clark went. She said that Diddy and them made her go over to Kid Cudi house. Was it her DNA? Cassie was messing with Kid Cudi. Was it her DNA? Okay. Who else was in that vehicle with Diddy? Was it their DNA? Was Kid Cudi messing with another female that didn't nobody know about? Was it that DNA? You know, so you just never know. But for him to say he don't know what that meant, it means it's female DNA, and y'all need to find a female DNA that matches that. Point blank period, excuse me. Yeah. So, then it says, after the break, then the fireman returned to the stand and said he made multiple unsuccessful attempts to make contact with Capricorn Clark and Cassie during his investigation within a couple of months after the January 2012 Kid Cudi car fire. He testified that after several calls to Clark, her brother answered and told the investigator to leave her alone. Then the fireman also said he made contact with Cassie's father, but he wasn't helpful. So see, nobody wanted to cooperate, so that's probably why they left the DNA part alone, because then nobody answer to be tested or nothing like that. Now, Diddy team said that Diddy lawyers, they called for a mistrial this here past week. They called for a mistrial, honey, because they said that it's misconduct and claims of bias against Combs. Now, this is what they said. The defense, Diddy team said that the defense moved for a mistrial based on prosecutorial misconduct. Okay? Some prospective jurors said during jury selection that they believe Sean Diddy Combs could buy his way out of things. Okay? Shapiro said. This type of conspiracy theory is out there, and the type of implications we believe the questions were designed to create play right into that. So what he's saying is that, you know, like when they was questioning the officer, and they was questioning the fire department man, and the officer said, oh, well, we pulled up, but, you know, it wasn't anything like a crime committed, so they didn't chase the SUV, but they did run the tag. It came back to Bad Boys Records, right? Okay, but then you don't hear nobody saying that they went to Bad Boys Records to see why their vehicle was at this place that was trespassed on. So what Diddy lawyer is saying is that they just leaving it as if, okay, yeah, it's some signs that he was here, but we didn't follow through with it. And the jury, when they was picking the jurors, they was already saying that Diddy can pay his way out of anything. And if you listen to some of the testimony that inside the trial and the way the prosecutor is asking some of their questions, it leaves it as if, okay, yeah, wasn't nothing done, most likely because he pays his way out of everything. So that's what they're saying, that they're seeing a lot of that. And so they want to call for a mistrial because they don't like that is being leaned towards that. A lot of testimony is being guided towards that, okay? So that's why his defense team was calling for a mistrial, but they didn't get it. The judge said, no, sir. No, sir, we're not doing it. But I can tell you right now, Diddy is in a whole bunch of little stink here. It stinks to high sky. If Diddy was to be found guilty, he could be sent to prison for life if convicted. He really can. Okay? I wanted to show y'all something else too. But that's what Diddy lawyers do. They always hitting for them mistrials and things like that. And Diddy lawyers also said that they didn't like the fact that the prosecution has a lot of time to ask their questions to the witnesses. But when Diddy team come up there, it always seems like their time is cut short. Like the prosecution side would have about 40 minutes to question a person. But when they get up there, they say they only have about 20 minutes to question a person. And the judge said, no, that's not true. Y'all get the same amount of time. Actually, I've given the defense, Diddy lawyers, more time, a couple of times, to ask questions to a witness. And the judge was saying sometimes Diddy's lawyers just take a long time on one question instead of just moving like the prosecution side do. Okay? So Diddy's lawyer felt like that part was unfair, but they did talk about that sidebar or whatever, so they're going to make sure both sides get the exact same time for each witness, okay? Because Diddy team will holler a mistrial. I can tell y'all right now, I don't know about the rest of them, but I do know Brian Steele will holler mistrial in a minute because he did it in Young Thug case. He don't let nothing slide. If somebody get 1 minute more than him, mistrial. This is bias. Mistrial. I'm telling you, Brian Steele don't play. He gonna find something. He gonna get him a loophole in somewhere. You got to be on your P's and Q's, and you got to be 10 toes down. Because if you get caught slipping, Brian Steele gonna use it in every advantage he can. So, now they got this girl here, Maya, on there. And Maya was talking about she has witnessed a lot of things and a lot of abuse that Cassie was going through, okay? And that she also was part of being windmilled on by Combs. And she also said that Combs has forced himself on her more than one time. Countless times, would she say, okay? Allegedly. Now, this is the Maya chick, okay? And she was verifying what the hairstylist said, that when Combs came over to Cassie's house and that he had pulled Cassie off the couch and all that stuff, and then they pulled Cassie and tried to run into the bedroom, but Combs caught the door before it closed, and then he came in there and started windmilling on Cassie to where Cassie started leaking. Well, she and the Nash, the hairstylist, the ones who jumped on Diddy's back. And she even said that Diddy slung them off. And he didn't stop until he saw Cassie was leaking, okay? And that her head was leaking. And when he saw that, that's when he stopped, okay? And so that's when she said that Cassie had hit her head on that bed frame, okay? And she said that she thought he was going to delete Cassie the way he was cutting up on Cassie, okay? And she said that that was the first time she realized the danger all of them were in after seeing him cut up and act up like that on Cassie, okay? She also said that she saw Combs windmill on Cassie and throw her on the ground and, did her head real bad and all that stuff and chased her. And she said that Cassie never fought back. Okay, so she is another assistant. She was Combs' assistant as well. Okay, and that's why I say he had a lot of assistants. We done heard about 3 or 4 assistants come up here on trial and talk about what Diddy had them do and what they saw Diddy do and all that type of stuff. And it seems like every other year. I mean, some of them say they worked for him for a long time, but if you think about it, it seems like more assistants was involved, even when another assistant was still working for him. And it's like Diddy's turnover was so high. When you have a turnover so high like that, that automatically tells you something wrong within that company. Because the turnover, people are quitting, hired, quit, hired, quit, hired, quit, hired. You got so many people who are quitting, and you hiring so many people often. That shows right there it's a problem within that company. Okay? But they can't keep anybody for a long ass time. That's what it's given. You know? So she was part of his assistant. And she said that she witnessed Combs being, terrible to Cassie a lot of times. And then they asked her how many times, and she said all the time. I don't have a number, but she just know that Cassie was being windmilled on a lot. It was something else I wanted to show y'all as well that this Maya chick was saying. She said she was Combs' personal assistant and wasn't allowed to leave Combs' side without his permission, and that she was forbidden from locking her bedroom door while staying with him. The assistant, who is testifying as Maya, said she once left Combs' Los Angeles home after 2 a.m. while her employer was asleep. She later received a call from Combs' security staff who had been ordered to find her. She said she hardly saw anyone outside of Combs' world as a result. As for the ban on locks, she said Combs told her, "This is my house. No one locks my doors." Okay? So she was staying with Combs as well. Y'all remember, it's a lot of assistants that said that they stayed with Combs. Okay? And that they would stay in a room in his house because they had to cater to him kind of every day, all day. Okay? So they stayed in his house, but he didn't allow anyone to lock any doors. You couldn't lock your bedroom door. So now, she also said that she once went 5 days without sleep working for him. My hearing went. It felt like I was underwater. So she was saying that she had went about 5 days without sleeping, all that, just working for Diddy constantly. She said, allegedly, family, she didn't get any sleep within them 5 days, okay? And she said that then she became hysterical. Her hearing was going bad. She said her vision was blurry. And she said she just kind of snapped and started screaming and yelling. And then she was just crying nonstop. And then she said finally Diddy told her, "Okay, you could go get some sleep." And then he let her get some rest. What? But anyway, she said that he threw things at her, and that he threw me against the wall. He threw me into a pool, Maya said, staring at her lap. He also forced himself on me. Okay? So that's what she said. She also said that she would set up hotel rooms for Combs, unpacked his toiletries, including lotion, baby oil, and lubricant, remain on call in case Combs needed anything, before housekeeping went in after hotel stays. Maya was tasked with cleaning up the rooms, describing the state of them as a nightmare, with baby oil, candle wax, and sometimes blood left behind, she said. Maya testified that there were times she was with Cassie before the hotel stay, but one time stands out to her memories when Cassie seemed visibly upset to oblige Combs' request for a hotel stay and developed a stomach issue because of it. Okay? But she said it was one time that Cassie just didn't want to go, and Cassie's stomach and stuff like that started hurting and all that. But my thing is that he was using the assistants to go in there and clean up hotel rooms after FO. And then she said sometimes she would even clean up blood left behind. What? And you don't know if it's woman blood that comes out the wound, or is it from somebody getting windmilled on? And that's where it come from. But when you're using your employees to clean up evidence like that, you don't know what that evidence is. You don't know who was hurt by that evidence. You don't know if it comes from somebody being on a monthly cycle, or is it from someone being physically harmed or hurt. You know, you just coming in there just cleaning it up. That's another thing why the prosecution is pointing, the prosecutors are pointing towards racketeering. Because you're using your company / enterprise and your employees to do other things besides what they are supposed to be doing. And then they are involving themselves in the criminal activities that you are demanding they do. Like he's keeping his hands clean. Diddy don't clean the rooms, but he orders somebody else to do it. And they know they better do it, and they better do it right. Diddy don't set up his own hotel room. He have his employees doing it. See, but they got titles like artist, music artist, or assistant to help him just with his everyday office work, not his get down dirty FO work. Okay, so that's how they tying that in. That's what it's given. But she did say it was one time that her and Diddy, and then was on a trip. Diddy was doing some type of music video in Los Angeles, and said that the Wi-Fi didn't work, and that he was mad that the Wi-Fi didn't work, and he told her she better get the Wi-Fi work, and she's like, it's not my fault. It's these people Wi-Fi. They the one who don't have good Wi-Fi, but they said that they working on it or whatever, and she said that he threw a computer at her head, and the computer barely missed her. She said, then he chunked the computer at my head. It just missed her, she said, recalling that she thought at that moment, wow, he meant to hit me. Yeah, he meant to hit you. But anyway, then she said she ran out of the trailer that he was in and went to hide and cry. And she hid behind the luggage van and started crying and stuff like that. Then, this is her again. But if you notice that they are using her testimony helping build the prosecutor on racketeering conspiracy charge. And that's what they was doing. Because you think about it, that girl said that she went in there and she said not one time, but most times she would have to clean up blood. Was it on the bed? Was it on the floor? Where was it? But the thing is, they cleans it up. Because they don't want any housekeepers or anybody to come behind and see it. And then they try to make money off of it by saying, ooh, look how Diddy left his room, and try to sell that content to somebody like TMZ or some other type of media outlet. So they cleans it up. But they must don't clean it up too well, because we heard one of the hotel owners say that they don't even like Diddy coming to their hotel because he tears up their room. He leaves their room destroyed, and they have to buy new stuff every time he leave. So that's why they put a deposit every time he reserve a room. His deposit is automatically $1,000 or more, because they know that they're gonna have to keep the deposit to replace whatever he done tore up and messed up. So then this is when she said, Combs' former assistant, the Maya, testified that the first time she took their street candy, other than that green, was with Combs at his Miami home. She said Combs gave her MDMA, and that's the Molly, and told her she was now part of the Breakfast Club. She also described an incident at Burning Man where Combs had 3 plates with white powder. One with that Molly, one with that C cane, and one with the K-mine, okay? People were taking turns going up and playing some guessing games, Maya said. Combs told Maya it was her turn. She tried to protest, but Combs became upset when she turned and she tried to fake it. So she tried to fake taking it, but it didn't work. She tried to fake break taking the drugs, but he made her take it anyway. And he separated the dose that he wanted her to take, okay? Then Maya said she did sniff some of it, which turned out to be that K-mine. And then she tried to go somewhere, family, and out of their view, and tried to blow it back out her nose because she didn't want to do it. So she did it, but then tried to run behind their back where they couldn't see her and tried to blow it back out. Okay, but it was too late. So she said she never took that stuff before. And she said she didn't think that she had a choice but to do it because he told her to do it. Okay? And as she said, Combs threw some spaghetti at her one time. He threw a bowl of spaghetti, turkey meat at her. He done throw phones at her. He done throw computers at her. She said that every time she turned around, he throwing something at her, okay? And he said that he threw that spaghetti at her because he asked her to go pick up a couple of his friends. And she said, okay, let me go and upstairs to my room and freshen up and change myself. And then I go get your friends, and said he went off. No, you ain't got time to do all that. When I tell you to go do something, she's supposed to be walking out that door doing it right then. Don't tell me that you got to go upstairs and put on makeup and do all that. No, go right now. And that's when he threw the spaghetti at her. And she said she ran out the door barefooted. Okay, honey. I couldn't have been me. Anyway, family, I mean, all money ain't good money. I'm sorry. And I don't know if she ever raised up, not having a whole lot or something like that. But they said sometimes it's good to know how to live both ways. Some people wasn't raised up with a whole lot. Now they have a whole lot. And some people was raised up with a whole lot and now don't have a whole lot. But having a balance of how both lives are, you can survive both ways. And it just seemed like these people here is just because they was around a star, they don't want to go back to struggling and striving and providing and moving their way back up in any situation they can. It's like people would do anything to stay around a celebrity, a star, stay around the limelight, stay around all the attention. They just got to have attention, and they will go through anything to stay in that spotlight. They will sacrifice their own selves to stay in something so toxic because they want to be seen. What? Oh no, that's okay. I know how to fix a bologna sandwich. I know how to fix a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Oh no, I'm good. I know I make enough money to make peanut butter and jelly sandwich and a loaf of bread, baby. But this right here, I am not gonna take. Oh no, no, I got too much pride and morals about myself. Yes, and respect about myself to just be dogged like this. Anyway, family, this here woman said that he would humiliate me, he would curse at me, he would go on really long extended rants about how incompetent and stupid I am. Child, no. And threaten her job. Child, no. Child, no. Let that sink in, family. Couldn't have been me. But, I mean, you know, everybody ain't the same, you know. So, it's sad because I'd be like, wait a minute, my dad don't even holler at me. Not like this right here you putting down. This ain't how men treat women. I know better because I was raised around better. But anyway, you know, she was talking about how it's often her duty to clean up the hotel rooms and things like that. They call it a sweep, okay? Doing a sweep, meaning that when you come into the room after Diddy, it's a sweep. Make sure that everything is straight. Make sure that nothing damages his reputation, okay? And she also said that the standard procedures was to sweep the room to make sure there wasn't anything a housekeeper could take to TMZ, the celebrity news outlet, or anybody. The rooms would be a nightmare, Maya said, with baby oil, candle wax, sometimes blood to clean up. Combs told Maya it was cycle blood from a woman. Is it really? Is it really? Or is it something else? See, this is what I'm talking about. You know, it was also Maya's job to take Comb and Cassie to the hotel and set up their rooms, she said. And she unpacked stuff for them and get their stuff ready. But she do remember that Diddy was very upset about when he found out about Kid Cudi. You know, Cassie and Kid Cudi messing around, said he was real pissed off. And she said, I believe that Puff authority was above police, she said, using another common nickname for Puff. Okay? This was a period where years and years before social media or Me Too or any sort of example where someone had stood up successfully to someone in power such as him. So she was like, you know, people were saying, why didn't you say anything and things like that. It was like, back in the day, this was normal for dudes to treat women like that. And it wasn't no social media, wasn't no Me Too movement or nothing like that. The majority of the time, it was normal for men to treat women like dirt. Basically, like they less than. And that's true. You know. In some of the rap music, they labeled the women, bees ain't nothing but hoes, you know. So you like, damn, okay then. Okay, they ain't talking about me though. What you talking about somebody else? But anyway, so then I just want to talk about the part where she said that Cassie was on one trip to Turkish Caicos, that her and Cassie in 2012 had to run from Diddy, and that Cassie was screaming all around the house, and that her and Cassie ran out the back door and they jumped in the water with some paddles, and they tried to paddle their way all the way out in the sea. And when they paddled their way all the way out in the sea, they could see Diddy walking and pacing the beach, yelling at them. But the more he yelled, the smaller he got, because they was way out there in the sea trying to get away from Diddy. Then she said Mother Nature started looking like it was finna storm. And so they had a choice to face the storm or to face Diddy. And so they said that water wasn't looking right. It was looking very dangerous out there on sea. And so they paddled their way back towards Diddy. And of course, Diddy went off. Okay? Yeah, of course, he went off. He went mayhem. But he took the majority of the bulk of the frustration out on Cassie. And once again, Cassie had to be packed up with ice and all that stuff like that is what she's saying. Okay? But that's when she said they found on the beach the paddles out to sea where Combs was running back and forth on the beach behind the house screaming at us. She described Combs as irate. Yeah, so, but they went back though. Now I want to get to where she said that he did something to her. She said, Maya said that she told Combs no. Okay, now she said she never wanted to engage in any sexual acts with Diddy, but he did it anyway. She said you couldn't tell him no. She was afraid to tell him no. I couldn't tell him no. Like about a sandwich? I couldn't tell him no about anything. There's no way I could tell him no, she said. Maya said she was so afraid of Diddy, okay? Because he had control of her future. She said that the encounters with Diddy was sporadic, okay? That he would come in every now and then in her room and do something with her. And then she said months would go by and he wouldn't. Then, all of a sudden, he'll appear again and do something to her, okay? She said there was never no boundaries. It wasn't weird for me to be in his room at all hours of the night and waking him up and talking to him while he was on the stool, okay? Maya testified she always thought there wouldn't be a next time because they were so random and spaced out. You know, so like she said, it would be months before he approach her and then he'll come back, you know. She said that she was asleep in Combs' Los Angeles home when Combs climbed on her. She said he was sleeping. She said she was sleeping with the door unlocked because nobody was allowed to lock the doors. Maya testified that she was woken up by the weight of a person on top of me. It was Combs, she said. Maya said Combs told her to be quiet and used one hand to get his pants off. After a pause, Maya said he put himself, right there. I just froze. I didn't react, she said. When asked how did she feel, she said, I felt terrible, confused and ashamed and scared, okay? It was very quick, but it felt like forever. That's what she said, okay? Okay. She said Maya went on to recount another time she said Combs forced himself on her at his home in his Los Angeles house. She said she was on the floor in his closet packing a bag when he forced himself and took it again. Okay, so she said she was in his closet, like a walk-in closet or something, and she was sitting down on the floor packing some things and looking through some things, and he walked up to her and he pulled out his sausage and made her, enjoy the sausage with her head, okay? So that's what he did on that occasion. So she was just talking about how many times he had done that, and treating her like doo-doo. And she said that Combs also told her, now he going with Cassie at the time, and she's supposed to be very close to Cassie as well. So he was using that, she said, allegedly, that if she say anything, or if she try to out him or something like that, he gonna tell Cassie that, look what your friend messing with me behind your back. Okay? and it would make her look bad to Cassie as well, even though she didn't want to. Allegedly, that's what she said, okay? But the thing is that when the defense got up there on her, they started making her look like questionable, okay? So as you read all this and listen to her testimony, you would say, man, you know, she was being done bad. She was in a terrible position, in a terrible spot, you know, and that was her boss. And she said that it was no way to escape it. And she said the things that Diddy done to her for as forcing himself, she said she thought it would never happen again, that her boss had just been drunk, and that it probably was a huge accident, but it kept on happening. And so she said that she did never plan to tell anybody about these encounters that he was forcing upon her. But because she has to testify, she's telling it. Okay? So this is most likely, if Cassie is listening, this will be the first time that Cassie know that while Cassie was talking to Diddy, that Diddy was taking some stuff from Maya as well at the time. Okay, because she said she ain't never told nobody. But then the defense came in, and I just want to talk about this right quick, because that's basically all this is she was talking about how he took it on New Year's Eve, and she said that he made her, he said that he was treating her real bad on New Year's Eve, and they was out on the yacht, and that she made some people take her back to shore. But Combs' staff had her passport, so she was forced to return to the yacht. You better learn how to walk on water like Jesus, Combs told her. Yeah, and she said another time, Combs gave her a drink when he forced himself on her. He gave her a drink, told her, let's take a toast. She said she took that toast, and she was just doomed. Okay, I told y'all that was going on allegedly back in the day, because we was hearing rumors. They was like, baby, if they having anything at the community center, or Diddy throwing some type of concert or something in New York or something. This is back when we was in our early 20s. Say, if he throwing anything, baby, you better not go, because girls be drinking and falling out and then wake up and they all messed up downstairs. Yes, yeah, or strung out one. Yeah, so that was fear for me. I would never, but she said she took that toast and she was doomed. Okay, now she didn't say that nothing was put in it. She just said when she took the drink, she said she was wondering, has she ate anything? Because, you know, sometimes you don't have anything on your stomach, the alcohol will hit you hard. And she said that she kept thinking, but by that time, she was already passed out. And then woke up, and old Diddy boy was on her, allegedly. Now, Diddy's lawyer, of course, he came back with cross-examination, and Mr. Steele don't be playing with you. He had no sympathy for little old Maya, and he was causing doubts, okay, because Steele got up there, and everybody heard what she was saying. Then when he got up there, Brian Steele flipped through Instagram posts for more than an hour. And then he was flipping and showing Maya and flipping and showing the jury and all that stuff, that Maya and Diddy was close together as if they was a couple, and that she really, really looked like she had a big crush on Diddy, that if you would pay close attention, you would think that Diddy was her man and not Cassie, okay? And that she was proud of these pictures because she would put on her Instagram post about how much she loved Diddy. This is even after she was saying the SAs was going on between her and Diddy, okay? Now, Maya's previous testimony trying Diddy's lawyer, Brian Steele, he is trying to show the jury that is some discrepancies going on with Maya's testimony, okay? So he was saying, he told Maya, he said, why would you promote the person who has stolen your happiness in life? Sean Combs lawyer Brian Steele asked Maya as he confronted her with social media posts praising her then boss and eventually enjoying her job, evidently enjoying her job as an assistant. These include photos of Maya standing close to Combs and attending Burning Man and a private event for Muhammad Ali, and messages calling Combs a brother, friend, and mentor, or saying, "I love you," with a heart in the place of the V. Maya said promoting was part of her job, and she had to support the things that Puff supported. Now, some of these pictures, family, they was describing them, because of course they didn't show them to us, but they was describing them, that her and Diddy would take pictures, he's shirtless, she got on tutus, and she is up against Diddy, like how you throw your leg across a dude, and he got his hands on his sashes, and she got her leg on his sashes. Now you throw your leg up on the sashes and all that, and grinning and cheesing and smiling, and then it's other posts that he's standing there, but her arms are wrapped like tightly around Diddy, and with like kissing or trying to kiss him or standing close to him or got the boom boom on him and all that stuff. And see, that's what I'm saying, people, about social media will tell on you. A lot of people posting all this stuff on social media and don't realize about 10, 15 years from now, it could come back and bite you. And then you be trying to explain, oh, well, I did this because of that. Because what Brian Steele was showing and the pictures he was showing, and people were saying, they started to question then. So he did put some questioning of doubt in people's head because of the way some of the pictures were. Okay? Some of these pictures were more together than Diddy and Cassie. If you notice the pictures of Diddy and Cassie, when you look, Cassie just standing there. Diddy is the one that probably have his hands around Cassie, or they just standing there on the red carpet and she just turning from the right to the left. It's like a professional photos. A lot of the photos that we see of Cassie and Diddy are kind of professional photos. These photos of Maya and Diddy looks more like it's something there. Okay? It couldn't, I'm just saying this is what the defense was putting out, and they were showing the pictures. So it's like, it do bring question in your mind, like, okay, if he's so bad, you don't have to throw your leg, or you don't have to put on a tutu. You ain't got to do all that. You ain't got to say you love him. Like she said at the bottom of this here thing, her job is to support what Diddy support. Okay, I can support, if he's at a Muhammad Ali event, I would say this is our boss at Muhammad Ali event. He is always grinding and working. That's it. That's it. Especially for a person who is taking advantage of my body. I'm not gonna be saying, and I love you, you the best, you're this. I'm gonna do promoting only. Promoting only. I ain't got to add all that extra stuff in there because I'm not feeling you for real. I'm just here because I got no choice. That's what I'm just saying. Because anybody, any woman, when they being done like that, even if they stay in the relationship, they still not bragging like that on the dude. They taking them windmills and they taking whatever they going through behind closed doors. They are got their arm around the person that they are with, who is they windmiller, the person who is doing this to them. But they really not bragging like that. They not sitting on couches saying he's the best thing that ever happened to me. No, they gonna sit close to him, but they not gonna be saying all that extra stuff because something going on. That's when the family and people like that, friends, can pick up on it. Like, you all right? Because she sure do look kind of scared, timid, and distant around this person. Is he doing something to her, or is she doing something to him? So my thing is, Brian was bringing out those points, and I believe a lot of what she said. But the thing is, Then when they came back with the pictures, it just cast a little doubt. And that's all a trial needs, is to cast doubt. So that's why I said some people need to watch with what they post. Because sometimes it can come back and bite you. Even if it's not meant to come back and bite you, people can use it, like a lawyer, can use it to cast doubt upon your character. And so the defense also showed that Maya posted, "Shout out to my mentor Diddy," on social media the same day she claimed Combs forced himself on her. So they showed a post of her. She's hugging him, or she's just bragging on Diddy. The same day she said he forced himself on her. Okay? Wow. And then they showed her posting something the next day, and like a week later, and then the next day, and then a week later, then the next day, then a week later. All of it was really about how fond she is of Diddy. It really didn't have anything to do with promoting, say, like a brand or his clothing. Like, she wasn't putting up a Sean John jacket and saying, "Oh, I'm promoting my such and such. We love him, or something." No, it's always like, ah. And that's what the defense was showing. Okay? So Diddy lawyer Brian Steele also showed a whole lot of posts about her boss between 2009 and 2016. On the 5th anniversary of the initial SA, you are saying to Sean Combs on your social media, "Thank you for being the good kind of crazy and continue to inspire me every single day," the lawyer said. "I don't think people wrote bad stuff on Instagram in those days," responded Maya. That's not a good comeback. See, he's showing how she's just posting all these things about Diddy. Then she said, "Well, I don't think that people wrote bad stuff on Instagram in those days." What do you mean bad stuff? Well, she's saying that in those days, people didn't write the bad times. People just put the good times. Well, if you're going through what you say you're going through, you're not even supposed to be, because see, you're not his girl. You're just an assistant. We can understand Cassie kind of falling in the okie doke, but you're just an assistant. And then you continue to write on your social media, not the brand Bad Boy social media, not the enterprise social media. You're doing this on your personal social media. Okay? Which is your personal time. You're not writing all this on the Bad Boy social media. Okay? So that's basically what they showing. And it was a time that Maya in October 2013 posted a photo of Combs at Starbucks, and she put a caption reading, "Just the #1 guy on Forbes list, getting me a vanilla latte, no big deal." She also, another post that she wrote about Combs, "Always letting me give birth to my dreams," that came along with video clips of her head superimposed on a woman giving birth with Combs' face over the delivery doctor. So what she did was, she said, he always, now this supposed to be after all these essays she put on her social media, she said, "He always giving birth to my dreams." And she put a picture of a lady giving birth, but put her head on it, and then put Diddy's head looking over the doctor as this woman is giving birth. Why? See, it's given that you kind of digging this man. And she most likely is not. I'm just saying the perception that is given once the defense showed all these different posts and all these different pictures of her and Diddy. Okay? Basically saying, shoot, she wasn't all that afraid of him or didn't like him, or, because giving birth is an intimate thing. And to have a man looking at, when the man is in the delivery room with a woman, that is very intimate while they're having their child or their child is being born. So for her to post, she said, he's always giving birth to my dreams. She literally put a woman giving birth and replaced that woman's face with her face, and then have Diddy looking over the birth as if he is the father of the birth. You see? I don't know. It's weird, family. It's weird. I don't even want to try to explain that. I tried to explain the best way I could. So, you posted a picture of Mr. Combs, the person who terrorized you. Fair? Defense lawyer Brian Steele asked Maya, who is testifying, okay, under Maya. Okay? On your personal account, you post all about Diddy. So your R word delivers a baby, right? Because he talking about that picture that she posted. Said, okay, so a person who R words you going to put something so intimate that you and him shares together, postably shares together, and you talking about he gives birth to your mind, but you using a real intimate post here for someone who is supposed to be your essayer, okay? And so then Diddy, Sean Diddy Combs, when you are testifying of him, asked the lawyer, how do you forget about being woken up with a man on top of you, you getting his way, he getting his way with you? That's, I think, what it's supposed to be. Because it's such a horrible thing, but you still putting intimate stuff and you hugging him and all that stuff on your personal post. And she said, because it's too horrible to think about. What? Okay. She said you think about it all the time. So, Steele said, you think about it all the time. You said, Steele pressed. That's Diddy lawyer. He telling her. So you think about it all the time. How are you best friends with a person who is treating you, that way? I guess, Maya said, trailing off and struggling to answer before she quipped. You have to speak with my therapist. That's what she said. So while she was getting drilled by Brian Steele, she was getting stuck about all those pictures she was posting about Diddy. She was getting stuck. And she couldn't really answer no more, family. She was getting stuck like hell. And it was a lot of things I guess she was looking at like, until she just finally said, well, I don't know why I was doing a lot of them things. You have to speak with my therapist. So she's just trying to show the jury or whatever that she does have a therapist or whatever. But Brian Steele was still grilling her. And he's not through grilling her. He'll be grilling her Monday morning as well. I think he's going to be cross-examining her Monday as well. But the point is, even if he don't, Brian Steele tore up Friday, okay? And her testimony was good now, what she said. But he came up there and also cast a lot of doubt in a lot of things she was saying. So, like, half the things you could really believe that she was going through, and then the other half, he was poking so many holes in it, or trying to poke holes in it, and then showing the pictures and all that stuff, until you would think that, maybe she had a crush on him real hard. I don't know. And then, even though we know how low down Diddy could be, the thing is casting doubt to the jury, you know. And it was a lot of things that Brian Steele, Diddy lawyer, was asking her that she was stuck and really could not answer. You know, not off the top of her head, which should have been very simple to answer. She wouldn't. You know, and she did get a back pay of $400,000 because of back pay wages. Back pay wages that when she quit, Diddy had owed her, and Diddy she got her a lawyer because Diddy, I guess, didn't want to pay that back pay. And she said it was for some of the tax windmills that she had to endure as well. And then she came out of that settlement with $400,000, but she had to give $200,000 of it to her lawyer. So she ended up with $200,000, okay? But that settlement was only for her back pay and for him windmilling on her. But I didn't see in there where it had anything about the sexual thing, which it probably did, you know. But she just got $400,000, but it's supposed to have been for the back pay that he had owed her after she left, and some of the the windmill she was going through. So that was that on that. And I just say this right here. Now we know why Diddy was keeping so many youngsters around him all the time, so he can control and install fear in them and intimidation in them. That's what he's giving. Because if you think about it, Diddy is the same age bracket as some of us are in the 50s. And he was going with Kim Porter when we was in our 20s, and because Kim Porter is about the same age, is in her 50s, right? If she was still here. And so the thing is, he was with Kim Porter because she was young, jazzy, looking good, a model and all that stuff. But it seemed like the older the women get, he dumps them or puts them aside, and then he started chasing the younger one. When those younger ones get a little bit too old and they late 20s to 30s, he let them go and go grab some more youngsters. That's what it's giving. It's giving a trend so that he can keep control and stuff like that. Because the older a woman get, it's harder to control. That's what it's giving. Yes. He was running these youngsters raggedy, destroying their lives, their future, their mind, all that. So now we see why we really never saw a woman Diddy's age on his arms, taking advantage of the youngsters. That's what it's giving. I'm sorry. Just about every one of these girls are way younger than Diddy. Way younger. And a lot of people think it's cute until they get in damn trouble about these youngsters. And it's a lot of men and women out here who love to mess with girls and stuff way younger than them, or that's young enough to be their daughters or granddaughters or grandsons or sons. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's like it's a major mission out here to target the youth and destroy their lives. Like, we done lived our lives, and now we're trying to destroy the youth lives by having relations with them and destroying their lives. And they can't even enjoy their lives at their age. Like when we was our age, we enjoyed ourselves. But then we take that and steal that from the youth, where they can't enjoy their self because we too busy in there trying to have relationships with them and make them do this and make them do that and make them do that until before you know it, their youth has become way old, about 20, 30, 40 years old. Now, you done stop messing with them and going back to the trend again of grabbing another 19, 20-year-old and try to destroy that person's life. Then when they get a little bit too old for you, then you recycle again and go grab another. Come on now. Come on now. Unbelievable. Anyway, I want to just thank everybody. Thank y'all so much. I want to give a shout out to G. Portez, who donated in our last video. Thank you so much for your generosity. Your donation is greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. And I'm going to end there. And we will stay up to date on Diddy. We'll be talking about Monday and Tuesday coming up this week about what was said. But like I said, I'm only going to grab the meat and potatoes of that thing that focus on the racketeering part and the conspiracy and the petition part. And if it's not pertaining that, we already know that he windmills on women. He windmilled on Cassie. He windmilled on this. We already know about all this windmill. I just really want to focus on the racketeering part. If I see something like that, then we coming back and we talking about that. That's all I have to say. Gain knowledge to prevent blockage. And we all know what that means. The more you know, the harder it is for anybody to block y'all from your goals and success. Bye-bye.